Hey YouTube, we're back for another video. This is gonna be a non-spoiler review of F1 the movie. I won't talk about the plot too much because I might give something away. Also, forgive me if it's not too obvious. I'm actually quite sick right now. But I really wanted to put this review out there because it's about to release in the US. Okay, so first of all, this movie starts by perfectly portraying who Sonny Hayes is. So it starts with his accident in the 90s and his vices all throughout, leading up to the present day of F1. He's recruited by his old friend Ruben, who happens to be his partner in F1 back in the day. Ruben takes him in to be part of his F1 team, Apex. And then from there, he meets his new partner, which is Joshua Pierce, short for JP in the movie. And it's your typical clash of egos at the start where they work around this whole character development with one another, and eventually Sonny Hayes will be some sort of a mentor. But enough of the story, let's get to the good parts. So I did watch this in a theater 5 minutes away from me, and my biggest complaint about that theater is that they used mid 2000 projectors, at least from the last time I was there, and I had no choice because of the movie schedules throughout the day. So I made it to a point that I took a risk and decided to watch it there. It just so happens that I think they recently upgraded their projector to a 4K dual laser projector. I know it sounds nerdy, but I've experienced a 4K dual laser with IMAX in the past. And comparing this with this new projector, I have to say the quality of this one is so much better than the IMAX I've experienced in the past. And then for those who want to know, this is Alabang Town Center, specifically Cinema 3. So I had the biggest complaint about that cinema having blurry movies, but now it's a big difference. I swear, even if you sit so close, you'll see the pores out of their skin, or if you sit very far, it'll be crystal clear just like your 4K TV. Alright, so F1 kinda reminded me a lot about Top Gun Maverick, and it just so happens that the director is the same, Joseph Kosinski, and he does a fabulous job for the audience to be immersed in the F1 race. It feels like you're the driver with all these camera angles situated around the vehicle. Those certain angles makes you feel the adrenaline mixed with the sound design, especially the soundtrack that's giving you that rush. It all ties in perfectly. I do know that some shots were shot on an iPhone. I think it was 15 Pro. And with that iPhone, they shot on ProRes. And that's a type of file that you can store so much information and use it for post-production. But I tried to look for those iPhone shots and I couldn't distinguish any of the angles because they were so crystal clear. It blended well with the other cameras, which was an articulating camera, which I had a chat with my friend. And he talked about a Rialto camera, which is, I think, made by Sony, where they had to shrink it down to fit the size of the car and hide it around the driver. So very similar to Top Gun, but those Top Gun cameras were still much bigger. So with this F1 car, it's a smaller vehicle that they really had to shrink it down. At first, I really thought it was a 360 camera, but it just so happens that they were able to articulate the camera and control it while you're moving 150 to 200 miles per hour. What I didn't know that I found out after the movie was Hans Zimmer was the composer of F1, and of course he came back after doing Dune, Inception, Interstellar, Dark Knight, and even Top Gun Maverick. Of course they had to get Hans Zimmer back. There was a point in the movie wherein I was listening to the track and it felt like it was giving me Dark Knight vibes. There's a certain tune in Dark Knight that I can't explain in words. So, in that moment, I was like, wait, why does it sound like Dark Knight? But it blends well with the race. It blends well with the theme of the movie. And it was just crazy that I pointed that out during the movie and then finding out it was Hans Zimmer all along. He does have a signature tone to his tracks. And, you can... And if you just rewind all the movies he's done, you'll get his style. Even with the soundtrack blending in with Sonny Hayes and Joshua Pierce, they both had different types of soundtracks playing whenever they had screen time. and you can really get the vibe off of it, and it really blended with their characters. And speaking of characters, the character development in this movie was just great. Even for the supporting characters, I think the casting was perfect, and each and everyone's role was played really well, to a point that it really carried the movie all throughout, even till the end. So there's no perfect movie whatsoever. I did have a small gripe on F1, and it's just, I think it felt a bit too long. Like, it was 2 hours and a half, or 2 hours and 20 minutes. But I think some scenes just dragged a bit too long, and I think other scenes could have been deleted, and even if they were deleted, it wouldn't matter to the movie. But just thinking about it, I do get why it was there. It really had to build a lot of character development, and also it does pay off at the end. Now, I don't want to say anything too much about the end because I want you guys to experience it, but it was just a beautiful scene where it goes first person, and you're living in the moment, and you're also it also feels like you're there. It feels like you're the driver of the F1 vehicle. But yeah, that's it. So my final score for this movie is 10 out of 10. My next movie review might be Jurassic World Rebirth. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna be watching that next week. It really depends on my schedule. But in any case, please do leave a like and subscribe so you can be notified with more content in this channel. I'm Premier Avenue, and I'll see you guys on the next video.